Hi, I'm Rigger. This is your right, and we finally have gotten to the end of Season 1 of Avatar, or Book 1, I guess. It's time to see how they conclude this opening chapter. But before we get started, be sure to like the video if you like it, share anything else would like it, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and subscribe if you want to see more. I don't really have a whole lot to say. People have been asking me what I'm going to do now. Am I going to do the movie? I'm thinking about it. I might dip into the movie before we start the next season. I also know that stuff's moving around, like Avatar stuff is being relocated online, possibly off Netflix and off services to some other stuff, I don't know. For the moment, I'm just going to play it by ear and we'll just see what happens. But I am thinking I'll dip into the movie real quick, just because I've mentioned it so many times and it's been a long time since I've seen it, and I might do something like a commentary or something, we'll see. I'll have a look. But that's not an issue for today. Today, we are just going to have to see how they conclude everything. It's easy for us now to say, oh yeah, there's 4 books or whatever there is, and there's all this stuff and Korra and all this legacy. But I wonder how this played on TV when it came out. If anyone can remember or was watching it in the first run, what did this do when it first came out? Did people really like this finale? Did they want more? Was it sort of just general TV and no one really noticed? I don't really know. But I guess no more pondering, we'll just get right into it. So, with that being said, this is the finale of Book 1 of Avatar The Last Airbender. And I'll see you on the other side. Alright, and that was the finale. That was really good. It wasn't what I maybe thought it was gonna be. I guess it kinda was. I don't know, it's hard to explain. It was very interesting to see how they were trying to wrap up most of these plot points and what ones they left hanging. But we'll just start out with the general plot, but it's pretty easy. It's mostly Aang and Spirit World trying to contact the ocean and the moon spirit. I was actually surprised at how much of the episode was taken up with that sort of half of the plot. Not that it's a bad thing at all, but we'll cover it first. So basically, he goes to the spirit world and he meets basically no one helpful. No one or nothing seems to be giving him direction. So he's visited once again by Roku. Roku says that those spirits are very, very ancient, so the only one who really knows what's going on is other really ancient spirits, especially one called Ko the Face Stealer, which is a hideous centipede thing that has a bunch of faces that it cycles through sort of at random. Apparently, if you show any emotion while talking to Ko, it will steal your face. And Ko knows the Avatar and has known the Avatar before because one of the Avatars tried to kill it, apparently for stealing the face of someone they loved. Which, yikes. And Ko will continuously try and jump scare you to make you show emotion by screaming in your face. Aang almost screws this up, actually, by showing emotion when he gets the answer, but Ko wasn't looking, so lucky. But Ko basically says that yeah, he does know where the ocean and the moon spirit are, no hard feelings, sort of thing. Basically, it seems like he plans to get him one day, but not today. He says that the ocean and the moon spirit's name are Tui and La, push and pull, moon and ocean. Basically yin and yang. They are not in the spirit world, they left to join the mortal world and have circled each other forever. And he puts it together, it's the fish. During this time, he, in physical world, is being taken by Zuko across the ice, which starts collapsing. Zuko has no plan here. He just finds a cave and hides out and hopes the storm passes. He does, however, take this time to sort of think to himself, talk out loud, while Aang is passed out. And he talks about his sister, how everything comes easy to her, how she's a prodigy, but all he's had to do is fight. And he had a line that I really liked, that his father said that his sister was born lucky, but I was lucky to be born. So that's a great bit of psychology into how Zuko grew up. After some help from a little cameo of the returning panda spirit, Aang goes back to the shrine in the spirit world but can't find his body. However, with a little help, he is jettisoned back to where his body is. And weirdly, his spirit travels from the shrine to the cave in the real world, so Katara and all of them can see him travel and follow where he goes. Basically following a blue streak in the sky and just hoping that it's Aang, which I don't understand the way that works, but you know what, it's fine. Anyway, so Aang comes to and fights Zuko with an air blast, but Zuko easily catches up to him because he's still tied up. However, they are then saved by an arriving Appa and, more importantly, Katara, who under a full moon decimates Zuko in 3 moves. Aang, being Aang, says they can't leave Zuko here, so they tie up Zuko and put him on Appa because they can't let him die out in the cold. And they rush back because they think the spirits are in trouble, and they are, because we'll come over to General Zhao. Almost disappointingly to me, the only mention or even input in this episode from the guy who was going to marry Yue, whose name escapes me, but the guy who was going on the assassination mission for Zhao, he just appears on the boat, says, Zhao, you'll get your comeuppance, runs at him and gets thrown off, and that's it. No, none of that force is ever referenced again. I kind of wish they got more than that. I kind of wish he wasn't just a joke. I wish there was something there. But Zhao basically says to Iroh that he, a long time ago, found a scroll in an old library that mentioned these spirits, and he knows about the fish, basically. He knows that there's a shrine there, and that the fish is the moon spirit, and if he plans to kill it. Iroh is completely irate at this idea, and basically flabbergasted he's going to attempt such a thing. It's funny, here we get a little mention of something I've been wondering about for a long time, and they mentioned that Iroh has reverence for the spirits, which sounds healthy in this world, but Zhao mentions in passing something about Iroh having traveled to the spirit world once, which seems to be the answer to how did Iroh see the dragon spirit that one time, and I don't know, I mean, even if that's all the information we ever get, I'm kind of happy with that. Like, oh, he does have contact with the spirits, so he was able to glean a look into the spirit world as the dragon passed him on the way to the fire temple. But I would be very interested to learn more about Iroh's journey to the spirit world if we ever get there. Despite the massive force and all of the war machines under a full moon, the waterbenders are doing an excellent job defending themselves, but, you know, they can't stop everyone. And Zhao, in a little invading force, makes his way to the shrine. He captures the moon spirit, which makes everything go red under a blood moon when the spirit's in trouble, and out of the blue, Iroh appears, as well as the rest of the team, saying, don't do this. And he's like, oh, Iroh, you're a traitor. He's like, I'm not a traitor, but you don't mess with the spirits. Like, the Fire Nation needs the moon. Everything needs the moon. If you do this, you will reap destruction. And Zhao fakes going along, puts the spirit back, and then burns it and kills it. Iroh makes good on his word and starts attacking everyone, but the guards slow him down enough that Zhao sort of runs away into the city. And the moon totally blinks out of existence. It just doesn't exist anymore, and everything goes like a muted grey, and I kind of like that effect. It was really cool. While both Iroh and the team are basically in mourning and disbelief that this has happened, we also see that Zuko has woken up, escaped his bindings, and got out of there. Aang gets, I guess, possessed by an idea and says it's not over. He enters an avatar state, he walks into the pond, and he merges and works with the ocean spirit, creating a gigantic fish kaiju, which is pretty sweet. Basically, he embodies the wrath of the ocean, and they walk out and start just decimating all of the Fire Nation forces. While you can tell that Aang is making an effort to be non-lethal, even in this state, definitely not everyone survived, because those who attacked it directly, he just destroyed them. And then the rest of the ships he just pushed away back into the ocean, just basically threw them away across the ocean surface. At the same time, Zuko has found Zhao in the city, and they are duking it out. Zhao confronts him about being the blue spirit, and, nothing of significance is said, because at that time, the ocean spirit that has parted ways with Aang is making its way back and decides to stop off, grab Zhao off a bridge with a giant hand, and just drag him under the water to never be seen again. Dead. Which is fair. Back at the pond, Yue tells the story that when she was born, she was basically on death's door. She wasn't crying, she had her eyes closed, no one could do anything to heal her. Her parents took her to the shrine, and the moon spirit helped her, turned her hair white, but gave her some life force, and she came to life. So they conclude that perhaps she can give it back. Despite Sokka's protest, she says again it's her duty to do this, and she touches the dead fish, gives it life, it is restored, she dies on the spot, and they return the fish back to the pond, and the moon reappears. I'm telling it slightly out of sequence. Zhao gets to see the moon appear and realize he's a failure, so that's nice. In a last little nice moment of closure, a spirit Yue appears and says she'll always be with Sokka, and gives him a spirit kiss and vanishes. So that's that done. Then we go to wrap up, and the wrap up is basically they're repairing, everything's pretty much fine. The chief says that he had a vision, but basically this was going to happen, and he is incredibly proud of his daughter and obviously sad. The master then says that he's basically tasking Katara with teaching waterbending to Aang, or continuing to teach him, because they've decided they're going to head to the South Pole and try and restore some of the southern tribe and work together, which is also very nice. Iroh and Zuko have basically gotten away on a makeshift raft because everyone was distracted with all of the everything else, and he says basically, Zuko says that he's tired, he's not going to go fight the Avatar right now, he's going to take a break and recover, which is also very fair. A choice which Iroh Iroh respects, and even calls him a man, being like, yes, a man needs his rest, you know, just a little subtle thing. And to end, we go to the Fire Lord, who tasks his daughter saying that Iroh's a traitor and Zuko's a failure, so, your chance. To which she evil grins, so that'll be good. So plot done, what did I think? Well, I think it was mostly really good. I don't think there was any missteps. Like I said, I was surprised how long we spent in the spirit world, but it feels like it's going to be set up for things we need later. The sort of cameos by the panda spirit and also Roku were nice. The fact that all these things meant something and came back is cool. I liked the little hints we get about Iroh. I really am interested to see that. I'm glad Zhao's gone. I was kind of getting sick of him as a villain, but this is a good way for him to go. I am quite excited to get Azula into the story. I mean, I know her name, because she seems way more interesting and cool, so absolutely. The development on Zuko wasn't overwhelming, but I'm sure we'll have more fallout here. He's definitely growing slowly. The stuff with the moon, again, I knew it was going to happen, but I think they did a pretty good job of it. I really like the kaiju thing as being just super powered and crazy. Despite the fish having no self-defense, I do like the sort of wrath of the ocean thing. It's like, okay, you messed up. I am surprised for just how much runtime Aang spent either knocked out / in the Avatar state or in the spirit world. Like, he was glowing for most of this episode. The UA stuff was pretty sweet and nice. It was interesting seeing Sokka have to lose her. Like I said, they did a better job than I thought they were going to do getting us attached to her. Still not a great job, like we didn't know her for heaps of episodes, but not bad considering that they did a pretty poor job in the first episode she was introduced, so can't complain. I do really hope Sokka gets a proper love interest at some point, because he kinda needs it at this point. He's had to abandon one and lose a second. And more than any of the other characters, like Katara and Aang especially, I think he would do best with, like, a partner. I know he plays well off Katara as, like, their brother-sister relationship, but I'd like to see him sort of wind up with a permanent love interest or a long-term love interest. I'd be interested to see that. Whereas Katara and Aang, in terms of relationships, their stuff can be more long-term. You know, I'm happy to see them figure out whatever they're gonna do with each other or someone else if it's over many seasons. But I'd rather Sokka get a love interest sooner, but not super important. I do like the world building. I think the fact that they're gonna go help the Southern Tribe is nice. Even if it's sort of all off screen, we just know it's happening. I do hope it comes back around at some point. It's funny, they didn't actually say where they were headed next, and I'm guessing it's they were heading east, right? But I was more expecting them to leave with the destination in mind, like, here's where we're gonna head next. But they didn't. Like, maybe you can remember from across the season, but I just mean being a kid's show, being like, okay, where's the next destination? And we're off to here, flying to the sunset. But they didn't do that. I am quite interested to see what they do with Ko. The centipede creepy design was quite bold for a kid's show, which I've said about this show a lot. They take a fair bit of risks here. It's quite a creepy image and a quite creepy idea. And stealing faces is also quite a horrific concept, I guess? Because they even give you an example of, like, a monkey without a face outside the home of Ko. So, like, yeah, it's a creepy idea. All in all, pretty happy with it. I don't think it was 10 out of 10, but, you know, 7 and 8, yeah, it's pretty good. Like I said up top, I don't really know what I'm gonna do next. I'll figure it out. I've been meaning to get some movie content on the channel, so maybe I'll dip into the movie just for fun since we're at that point. After this, I don't really know much. I mean, I know that Azula is a thing, and I know that Toph is a thing. I know a little bit about Toph because of various internet things. I'm pretty sure I had the ending of the whole series spoiled like 10 times for me recently because the Avatar meme's been going around with him and the Fire Lord, so, you know, the thing where they have the beams come out of their faces and whatever. But either way, this is a pretty small series for my channel, so if I need to take a break from it or if I need to find a new place to watch it, that'll just happen in time. But I do want to thank the small but dedicated group of people who do watch these. But all that being said, it's time to close the book on Book 1, Water. So far, for what is a kid's show, it's pretty exceptional, but you already knew that already. I guess Favorite Character Award just goes to Sokka, Most Entertaining goes to Appa, Least Favorite still goes to Aang, but he's getting a lot better as we go. I think Katara and Aang should end up together, but I have no idea if that actually is the case or not. Zuko is probably most interesting, because I know he has a long journey to go on, and there's a reason he's like the most beloved character out of this. Iroh's great, and I know that everyone knows Iroh's great, great. I am very glad that Zhao is dead, and I am super intrigued to get into some more big characters like Azula and Toph. And I don't even know at all when Toph comes into the story, so whatever. But we are seemingly getting Azula, so that's cool. Apparently my mirror universe Weiss is something like Azula, so that makes me scared of her, because mirror universe Weiss is just evil. So that's cool. Really looking forward to that. So, until next time, my name is Rhaegar. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me, at least for Season 1. And I hope I did alright.